today's news, Nyall George charged with conspiracy to murder Kadeem Jimenez. Premier airs concerns on marine platforms audit. Recommendations don't always hold the answers, says Premier Wheatley. House of Assembly returns to headquarters after almost 3 years. And VI must be able to call out wrong when they see it, says Premier. Well, viewers, these and more stories when 284 News return. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. My name is Kamal Haynes. Most of you know me from 284 News, but now you get to see me in a different light on my very own show called Health is Wealth. We have Joel Turnbull.
I don't want you to arch your back when you're pulling down.
Milton McLean.
First of all, right, your footwork.
Stephen Payne.
That was a 9 out of 10. I know you got the service down pat.
Steve Augustine.
You did a pretty hard workout today, so perhaps...
And as you can see, it's actually
you're
impacting
feeling it.
Alonzo Boynes.
Taekwondo.
Adam Murrows.
I'll speak as if you're an absolute beginner.
I am an absolute beginner.
You are an absolute beginner.
And Seth Graham.
It bites.
It will bite.
Get your water, get your fruits and veggies, and experience a wealth of knowledge about getting healthy.
There are many ways to enjoy life, like so many ways to count on Popular.
Father Jesus, that line you long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome viewers to the Thursday, February 23rd edition of 284 News. I am Kamal Haynes, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. While leading today's news, 26-year-old Nyall George has been charged with conspiracy to murder Kadeem Jimenez, who died in December 2022. Well, this was confirmed by the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force on Wednesday night, which said George was also jointly charged with John Burgos, 24 of St. Croix USVI, with unlawful possession of firearms, unlawful possession of ammunition, and unlawful possession of a controlled drug. What the report said, and I quote, "A search warrant conducted on George's Hodge Creek residence uncovered 3 illegal handguns, a large quantity of ammunition, and a quantity of illegal drugs. Both men were arrested at Hodges Creek. But the 2 men will appear in magistrate's court at the next available sitting," end quote. But Jimenez was fatally shot on the afternoon of December 12th in Major Bay East End area and was later pronounced dead at the scene. Commissioner of Police Mark Collins continues to reiterate his commitment and that of the force in identifying perpetrators. Well, he said, and I quote, "We need to present a unified front against those who want to put us and our loved ones in danger and in fear. I urge anyone who has any information into the recent murders and the attempted murder on Saturday to come forward," end quote. Well, to assist the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, persons are being urged to call the Crime Stoppers confidential line at 1-284-800-8477 with information about any of the recent shootings or illegal firearms in the territory. Well, Premier Dr. The Honorable Natalia Wheatley believes that the document entitled Report of the Auditor General on the COVID-19 Border Security Contracts for Static Marine Platforms is incomplete. Wheatley made that argument in the House of Assembly as he rose to debate the contents of the report. But first on the list of concerns was the apparent failure of the Auditor General to consult with or interview parties who Wheatley believed could have provided vital insight on the matter. Well, this included Easy Shipping proprietor Clyde Chilwell, who is named in the document, members of the National Security Council, and agencies outside of the police who are part of the Joint Task Force.
The Auditor General does not, in this report, interview all the relevant parties. And it's a problem. Did the Auditor General interview the owner of Easy Shipping, the one who owns the badges that the whole audit is about? No. Madam Speaker, I have a problem with that. You do a whole audit on Easy Shipping and you don't interview Easy Shipping. Madam Speaker, I have a problem with that.
The Premier said that he has personally had conversations with Mr. Chilwell, during which some of the claims in the report were refuted. Wheatley said that having been a member of the NSC at the time under scrutiny by the audit, he can confirm that he was not interviewed. He added that there are aspects that he has identified in the report as it relates to the NSC discussions with which he disagrees.
I know from being in the National Security Council and listening to presentations from the Joint Task Force that there were many arguments made not represented in this report. So from my standpoint, the report is incomplete. And in some instances, shows bias towards the police and does not adequately represent the voices of the other members of the Joint Task Force.
Wheatley has also questioned why the audit appears to prioritize the views of the police force over the other members of the Joint Task Force.
This report relies heavily on one entity of the Joint Task Force, which is the police. And the former commissioner is referenced several times. It does not reference customs or immigration. Joint Task Force has 3 entities: police, customs, immigration. Why is it that this report very heavily references only the police?
Well, conceding that he is not naive to the ongoing investigations into customs and the accusations made against former Premier Andrew Foy following his arrest, Wheatley asserted that he can only debate the bill based on the details which he has been provided officially. He believes, however, that Virgin Islanders need to be very wary of dangerous conclusions made in the report and what they could mean for the territory's aspirations for self-governance.
The report has some problems in it and some challenges. And it is a report that we have to be very, very careful with, because it comes to some very dangerous conclusions for the people of the Virgin Islands and our aspirations for self-governance. So read it, keeping that in mind. Again, let me say, I respect the office of the Auditor General. I certainly committed to the process of audits from an independent Auditor General, and her report is her report.
While he says it is right for the Auditor General to produce reports and have them laid before the House of Assembly, as well as making them available to the public, Wheatley believes that it is important that legislators be allowed to comment on such documents before they become completely public.
It's important for us to be able to comment on the report before it becomes completely public, so that the public can have some level of context for this report.
Well, up next, recommendations don't always hold the answers, says Premier Wheatley. House of Assembly returns to headquarters after almost 3 years, and VI must be able to call out wrong when they see it, says Premier. But these are more stories after a word from our sponsors.
Hun, it's asking for your password.
Huh?
You were logged out. I need the password.
BR.
What's the rest?
BRANDI, the number 4, EVER?
Who's Brandy?
We're like the password that isn't your ex-girlfriend's name. CG Insurance. Good like that.
I should have changed it.
You should have.
You're right.
Is someone gonna get that?
Hello.
Hello.
So nice of you to have cleaned up for us. Hi, baby.
We're like in-laws that don't show up unannounced.
Don't worry, I've got this.
CG Insurance. Good like that.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you, know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out that trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I hustle. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Welcome back, viewers. Our Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley believes that the process taken to implement any recommendations provided in audit reports must be done with extreme caution. At the time, Wheatley was addressing the House of Assembly on the heels of the 2 Auditor General reports being laid before the House. Well, he expressed that in some cases, while the recommendations may be beneficial in some areas, they may negatively impact others.
And Madam Speaker, we have to be careful with these audits as well, because some of the recommendations of these audits, they'll throw out the baby with the bathwater. Some of the recommendations from these audits will actually solve one problem and take us backwards in another problem. So elected officials, Madam Speaker, have to pray for the wisdom of Solomon.
Well, he believes that it is imperative to such processes to have constructive dialogue and cooperation to possibly determine other solutions which may not have been listed. Well, he stressed that, as was the case with the COI, recommendations are made under an assumption of the circumstances of implementation.
It's important that we have a democratic framework to be able to reform. As the leader of the opposition stated, when Sir Gary Hickenbottom made these recommendations, it was under the assumption that we would have a suspension of our Constitution and that these reforms would be led by a governor-led interim administration. And trust me when I say, the conclusions he would come to and the conclusions that your elected representatives would come to are different. Just because of democracy and the fact that you have leaders which are electable, who are responsible to you, the people.
The third sitting of the fifth session of the Fourth House of Assembly officially returned to its original headquarters in Rotown since March 2020, yesterday, February 21st, 2023. But the House of Assembly was relocated to the Save the Seed Energy Center's sporting facility in Dust Bottom due to a spacing mandate implemented by the COVID-19 pandemic. One more on this report.
The House of Assembly of the Virgin Islands has returned to its original location since March of 2022. On February 21st, 2023, the House of Assembly was relocated to the Save the Seed Energy Center's sporting facility in Dust Bottom due to spacing mandates implemented by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the original chambers in Rotown then went under renovations to upgrade the facility. In a report to the Standing Finance Committee, Clerk of the House of Assembly, Mrs. Phyllis Evans, informed the committee and stated that some 5 contractors, namely Macmillan Construction, Lawrence Wheatley Construction, Terrace Hill, Nottingham Construction, and Accurate Construction Limited, conducted the construction upgrades to the House of Assembly. Despite questions raised in the House of Assembly by opposition legislators and inquiries by our agency, officials continue to withhold the total amount spent on rent for the duration of the time utilized at Save the Seed Energy Center. In speaking to members of the House of Assembly upon entering the newly remodeled chambers, a few shared what it meant to them to be back home.
Madam Speaker, I'm sure that you, the Deputy Speaker, and the Clerk and her team would be pleased to hear me say that I'm happy to be here. I was skeptical about singing your praises until I got here. As a matter of fact, while I was coming this morning and I got by the speed bump by Virgin Islands Motors, my vehicle made a hard right to go in to Save the Seed, and I said, no, they say it's going to be up here. So I came and I saw the place and I said, well done, guys.
But I also want to get up and thank the clerk and the deputy clerk and Mr. Linton Leonard and Ms. George, for all the people who have been working hard to try to get this honorable house back on their feet. It's been frustrating. A lot of times you come, you want to see things get done, and it wasn't happening. But patience got us through this, and hard work got us through this. And I too would like to really thank the team for all the work they've put in and all the patience.
Junior Minister for Trade and Economic Development and at-large representative had this to say.
This is a historic building, and we deserve to showcase our historic buildings. And it also means that we are back in our home base, and I think that that is very important for us as well as for the people of the Virgin Islands. So it's a great occasion. I am very happy. Inside looks very nice.
Additionally, 9th District Representative, the Honorable Vincent Wheatley, ecstatically said,
I'm so excited to be back in the new House of Assembly where we started out. I couldn't wait to get here this morning. As a matter of fact, I was the very first person here this morning. It is beautiful. It's a job well done. I must commend all the team, Honorable Smith and his team, for getting us back here, back home. Thank you.
The third sitting of the 5th session of the 4th session, which is a continuation sitting, began after 4 p.m. on Tuesday, February 21st, 2023, after being scheduled for 10 a.m. that same day. The matter of House sittings beginning late has been a continuous concern for past and present House of Assembly speakers, as well as members of the community who believe the lateness of the House of Assembly is unprofessional and discourteous to residents. During the sitting, audit reports on Easy Shipping and government consultant Claude Skelton Klein contracts with the government of the Virgin Islands were laid on the table of the House of Assembly and debated by members. Other bills expected to be brought forward include the highly controversial Police Act 2023. The House of Assembly of the Virgin Islands is constitutionally due to be dissolved by March 12, 2023, making way for the territory's general elections.
Well, up next, VI must be able to call out wrong when they see it, says Premier. And public sector workers certified in social protection systems, and from Summer Sizzle BVI to New York Fashion Week. But these stories after 284 News return.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Freeze. Choose your mix. Choose your flavor.
Welcome back, viewers. Well, Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley believes that Virgin Islanders must be able to call out wrong when they see it. While he shared those sentiments with the House of Assembly following serious allegations made against several Virgin Islanders in the Auditor General's recent report. Wheatley stressed that the undertaking of such audits are not intended to crucify anyone.
We have not come to crucify anyone. But I heard someone say it, I believe it's the representative for the 9th District, right is right and wrong is wrong. And we have to be able to, as Virgin Islanders, as patriotic Virgin Islanders who love our country, we have to be able to call out wrong when we see it. And we have to be able to admit wrong when we have been wrong. Those are things which a mature society is able to do. And we have to show that we are mature.
While outlining the need for members of the public to understand the context and possible implications of the audits, Wheatley called for Virgin Islanders to consider the points raised by members of the House of Assembly in regards to those reports.
The audit is not perfect. It's missing some things. But the audit is there. We have provided useful debate. We've given persons something to think about. And we would ask that persons, when they read this report, that they consider some things which we have said. And that is the benefit, Madam Speaker, of being able to debate these audits in the House of Assembly, as opposed to when you just lay them on the table, people just get them, they read them, consume them, and they don't have the context that they need to be able to understand these reports.
Well, over 30 Virgin Islands public sector workers have been trained and certified in shock-responsive social protection systems. Well, more on this report.
The workers, which spanned various departments in the Ministry of Health and Social Development, the Ministry of Finance, and the Department of Disaster Management, engaged in a 4-day workshop on the importance of preparing for any shocks, emergencies, or crises, and how best to implement response strategies and bring immediate relief and also build resilience in the territory moving forward. The Minister for Health added that he was pleased to see the deepening relationship between the World Food Program and the Virgin Islands government. He noted that the ministry continues to revolutionize the way the territory routinely provides support to persons experiencing poverty and vulnerability, but also increases institutional capacity to respond to future shocks.
Preparing our social protection systems to rapidly respond to shocks is therefore imperative for us as a small island development state, located in an increasingly disaster-prone region of the world, where the lingering effects of disasters are keenly felt throughout every aspect of our society. Recent events have shown just how devastating shocks can be, how they intersect, how long it can take to recover, and therefore how vital it is to build a resilient society in preparation for the future. But we cannot do it alone. Sustainable development calls for strong regional and international cooperation. Hence, SDG 17 speaks about revitalizing the global partnership to ensure no one is left behind.
These reforms, he said, will lead to modern and responsive legal and institutional arrangements and, more importantly, greater transparency, accountability, effectiveness, and efficiency in mobilizing public and donor funds to assist persons in need.
This work also dovetails with a recent review of the social assistance benefits and grants administration system, which we delivered under the COI implementation framework with assistance from UNICEF. These reforms will lead to modern and institutional arrangements, and more importantly, greater transparency, accountability, effectiveness, and efficiency in mobilizing public and donor funds to assist persons in need.
The training program was a collaborative effort between the Ministry of Health and Social Development and the World Food Program.
The goal is to show how we can use the social protection system of BVI to be able to respond if there is a disaster or an event that requires a national response. What we would hope is that the persons would become more knowledgeable in shock responsive social protection, but also practically be able to develop an action plan as to how to make the social protection system that already exists in BVI or that is already being strengthened in BVI, what are the practical steps that they can take for themselves to be able to strengthen the system.
Representative and Country Director for WFP Caribbean Multi-Country Office, Regis Chapman, said the Virgin Islands government in the last 6 months has encountered the challenges in consolidating several social protection programs within the frameworks of the new Government Assistance Program. Mr. Chapman added, and I quote, "The World Food Program and UNICEF have been able to work hand in hand with the government to make some of these changes a reality." Additionally, the Director of Department of Disaster Management, Mr. Jason Penn, said the training program will positively influence the work of his staff.
We start now before an impact occurs, but putting together straightforward processes that we can scale up easily. We also plan for immediate post-impact and response phase. Who are the persons that might need a lot of assistance, up including to place to live? How can each of our agencies prepare now to support the persons for an emergency? Lastly, we plan for the recovery phase. How will we transition persons from emergency phase back to approaching regular? These are not simple questions, and even if some of the solutions will be straightforward, they cannot be implemented by one agency or one office or one unit. The project of making our territory resilient after a shock or impact requires all of us working together to execute.
He explained that the territory is committed to comprehensive disaster management, which he said is not waiting for a disaster to take action. This means that for us, when it comes to being ready in responding to emergencies and disasters, everyone has a role to play.
Well, that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Bye-bye.
There are many ways to enjoy life, like so many ways to count on Popular.